Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be going over Zotero and showing you all of my best tips and tricks for how to do research using this platform and making it easier for you to import in-text citations, make a bibliography, and just make your overall workflow a lot easier, smoother, more efficient, time-saving process. Now, you can do me a huge favor by hitting the like button and the subscribe button if you find this video useful. It will greatly help out my channel so I can continue making more content for you all and sharing all the things that I've learned through trial and error and making your grad life a more pleasant one rather than pulling out all of your hair. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Here are the first steps that you need to do in order to get going with Zotero. First thing you want to do, just go to Google, look up Zotero. It'll actually take you to zotero.org. So if you don't remember, it's a .org instead as opposed to .com. Just Google it. It'll pop you up to this particular page. So from here, you'll actually go ahead and click on this big red download button. Now this is a free platform, so you don't have to pay anything in order to be able to utilize this software. Now, I personally have a Mac, and that's what I'm recording this video on, but it does work for both Mac and PC. Now, for the purposes of my video, I would just download Zotero 6 for Mac. I'll download that video, I'll follow all the steps, and what will happen is it will prompt you. So I'll have this Zotero loading here. It'll give me a package, and when it opens up, so it'll be here in a few seconds, I can open up that file, and what I will do is this will pop up. I am simply going to hold Zotero down and move it into the drag here folder. Now, I already have Zotero saved to my computer, so I don't need to download it again, but that's literally as easy as it gets. You simply just drag the Z into the folder and it will begin its download. For PC is very similar. It'll, I believe, have it in a zip file, and you'll be able to follow the steps and download it to your desktop. Now, once that has been done, the next thing you want to do, and I highly recommend that you do this before you continue on with actually using Zotero, is installing a connector. Now, you can install the connector for Safari, or you can actually click right here where it says Zotero connectors for other browsers. And so maybe you're somebody who is more of a fan of Google Chrome or Firefox, maybe even Edge. Ew, gross. But if you are one of those heathens, you can go ahead and click install for either one of those. So for the purposes of this video, I'll go ahead and show you how the extension is going to work for Safari and how it will work for Google Chrome, since that's what I personally use the most. And I've also noticed that there's less issues when importing documents from these two web browsers versus Firefox and Edge. So you'll hit install, and once it installs into Google Chrome, then I can actually open up my Google Chrome tab. And so here's my Google Chrome. And when you want to add in the extension, you're going to go right here to these three little dots. You'll open that up. You'll scroll down to where it says more tools. So let me move this over for you. Scroll down to more tools. Then from there, you'll go to extensions. You'll click on that. It's going to take you to a separate page. All you have to do is search up Zotero, which I already have it saved. Once you do, it'll ask, instead of remove, it'll say install. You'll hit install, and it will pop up right there. So there is my little red Z Zotero button for you on Google Chrome. Now, how do you go about doing it for Safari? Well, if you're doing it for Safari, I'll go ahead and minimize this for now. Okay, in Safari, my extension is right here, and the way you would do that is go into Preferences, and once Preferences pops up, it's going to bring up a window just like this. You'll have General and all of these, but you'll notice there is my Extensions tab. So again, you're going to want to make sure you download the connector first from Zotero's website, zotero.org, and then come into here. So one more time, you'll go to Safari, you'll go to Preferences, and from Preferences, it'll pop up. You'll click on the Extensions tab, and all you have to do is either check or uncheck that little tab. So it'll ask you to turn on. Okay, so Zotero is now installed in my Safari. Now, that's all great, but how do you actually take full advantage of using Zotero as an extension? Well, let's go ahead and look up some example articles and I'll show you how that works. So first thing you want to do before I even start searching for it is make sure that the Zotero application is open on your computer. That is going to allow your web browser to talk to the Zotero application that has been downloaded successfully on your computer. So I will go ahead and just kind of set that to the back, and let's look up a random article. So my field of study is emotional intelligence, specifically within the educational system. So let's look that up. So I already have a few things here, so I'm going to just look up emotional intelligence, teacher, and leadership. So you'll notice with Google Scholar, it's going to have all of my PDFs. So let's just look up a random PDF here and let that load. And this one doesn't have an exact PDF available. I might have to pull it from my library stacks. So let's try this one. There you go. So here's a nice little PDF by Chen and Guo, and what I can do is I can do a variety of things. So the first one, if you don't want to use the extension, is to actually download this article. So this article is going to pop up, and I'm going to go to File, I'll hit Save. So I'm going to show you how to import it both ways. So the first one, let's just save this as sample article. Okay, so sample article, I will hit Save. Okay, now sample article is saved to my desktop. I'm going to actually close out this PDF. Okay, now I'm going to come back and show you how to import articles that are already saved to your computer. So if you're like, I don't really want to use Zotero because I have so many articles already saved to my desktop, I'm going to show you how easy it is to import those articles into Zotero. But to keep things simple, let's go ahead and start with this one. So you'll notice that my little connector that I added, my extension in Safari, is right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to drop down menu and say, where do I want this article to go in Zotero? Well, I've made a Baylor University folder here. I'm going to just put it in there for now. And so I'll hit done. Well, where did it go? If I open Zotero up, there is my article from Chen and Guo, and magically there is all of my information for this article. My volume number, my issue number, page range, date, even the abstract is imported within Zotero. I have my authors in there and my title. Now, if you're somebody who is using APA 7 like myself, then you are going to want to look at a few things. You're going to want to make sure that your volume number did not import with parentheses around it. Okay, so that is something you do need to double check. Do not assume that your citation information is imported correctly. So do double check this just to be safe. I would say 9 times out of 10, you're going to be okay, but it is that 1/10 of the time that will potentially get you in trouble with your citations and get a small point deduction. So do double check all of this information. Make sure your publication is correct. So what journal article is that coming for? And then lastly, with your title, you want to make sure that your title is written in sentence structure. So only the first letter at the beginning and the first letter after a colon is going to be capitalized. Everything else should be lowercase. So if that is not the case, go in there, just manually adjust those letters to make sure that they are lowercase. So that is one article. Now, that is from the extension. Let's go in here and look up one additional article so I can show you multiple things with Zotero. So we will take, let's see about this PDF. So I have one additional PDF that I want to import here, and I'm going to go ahead and one more time, PDF, here's my extension. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to send that to my Baylor Pop folder, hit done. So when I go back to my Zotero page, there is that article. And again, everything seems to be imported. Sorry. it is this one, teacher leadership. Everything seems to be imported correctly. I don't see any errors with date range, page or volume, issue number, and my title is also correct with the exception. Oh, there we go. Here's one. We got to make sure that that is capitalized. Now we have a nice, beautiful citation ready to go when I wish to export it for a Word document. So now that I have two articles here, I'm going to show you how easy it would be to go ahead and make in-text citations in a Word document, how to make your reference page, and a few more tips and tricks that I have for Zotero. So we'll start up with opening up a blank Word document. So here's my Word document, and let's say that we type out a paragraph. So this is an example paragraph. And I want to insert one of my citations right here. Well, here's a really nice thing about Zotero is once you have it downloaded to your desktop, you're gonna have this new tab right here at the top that says Zotero in Word. It will recognize it. It's not something that you have to integrate or do second hand or install. It will automatically be there. And so I'll click on Zotero. It'll take me and it'll give me these little tabs here. So if I want to add an in-text citation from one of those articles, I can click Add Citation. I'm going to select APA 7th edition. That's what I use. I'm going to leave this in Fields Recommended and leave this check mark of Auto Update Citations. I'll tell you why that's important in a second. So I'll hit OK. And it's going to give me this little red bar here. And what that red bar is important for is going to be for, come on, Word document, is for looking up which articles I want to insert. So Chen and Guo is an article that I have in there. And let's look up, what was the other article? Frost and Harris. So I'm going to go ahead and click Frost. And there is Frost. So now I have both of my articles that I just looked up, and I'm gonna hit enter. There you go, a nice, beautiful in-text citation, appropriately referenced and formatted. So Chen and Guo 2020, Frost and Harris 2003. So from there, now let's say I want to go and make my reference or my bibliography page from these citations. Well, what I can go do is, let's say I insert a page, and then from there we're following appropriate APA citations, references. Okay, I'll tab down and I'll go ahead and move back to the left. What I'm gonna do is go to my Zotero tab and hit Add Edit Bibliography. So I'm gonna hit that in, and boom, there is my bibliography correctly formatted with the appropriate indentations. So if you recall, APA 7 needs a half-inch indent, hanging indent for your citations. It is already done for you. It is in double-spaced Times New Roman font 12. So we have something that is already perfectly done. The only thing you do need to do is make sure that it is double spaced from the references page. Okay, so we got that, and then bold the references title and make this Times New Roman as well. And now you have an appropriately formatted reference page for your article. Now, let's say I don't want to use this Frost article anymore. Well, if I'm in my Zotero tab, I click on that citation, I hit edit. I want to go ahead and delete Frost, hit enter. Well, not only is it going to take it out of my paper, but it's also going to take it automatically out of my references page. Now, let's say I had used Frost in a different paragraph on a different page. It will continue leaving Frost here in my references or my bibliography until I have removed all references to Frost from my paper. So really nice, so that way you don't have to keep track of all of the authors that you've used within your paper. It will do all of that thinking for you. You just got to go back, double check, make sure everything is double spaced, Times New Roman font size 12. So really easy way to do that. Now, let's say you forget how to do these steps in Word, or maybe you like to use Pages, and they don't have that functionality in Pages. Well, there's still a way that you can do it. I'm going to leave Word open, but I'm going to show you how to do that from Zotero. So let's say I want both of these articles to be used within my paper. I'm going to hit Control and click both of them, so that way I can highlight both. I'm going to right click, and then from there I'm going to scroll down to Create Bibliography from Items. That will then pop up this page. I can make sure that 1, it stays in APA, but then 2, I can do an in-text citation, or I can click to make a bibliography. Now I'll show you both. The first one will be an in-text citation. I want to make sure that this stays copy to clipboard. That's just going to make life super easy for you. I'm going to hit OK. Go back to whatever my Word document editor is. And so I'm going to just click down, edit down, and test. And I want to cite that article. Well, I can just Control V to paste, or right click and paste, and there is my in-text citation. Okay, now if I want to do the bibliography this other way, same thing, make sure these are both highlighted. Okay, all the articles that I'm using in this particular paper, right click, create bibliography, go to bibliography this time instead of citation, hit OK. Now when I go back to my Word document, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do paste, but you're going to notice something different here and here. In this version, it has already been formatted correctly with the right margins, whereas this one doesn't. So you will need to take that extra step, copy everything. I'm going to adjust left and then do that hanging indent at the top of my document with my ruler. Okay, now one other thing is you have the hyperlinks for the DOI. You will need to right click, hyperlink, remove hyperlink, and then format that hyperlink to look like the rest of the document. So I'm going to change the color to black and remove the underline. Same for here. I'm going to remove the underline. Oops, I need to remove hyperlink first. Remove hyperlink, remove underline, and change to black. Now our page is correct. Now it looks like for some reason this changed to Calibri when I was changing my references, just change back. Always a good rule of thumb that before you submit a paper, just kind of Control A to select all, and then make sure everything is in Times New Roman. So Control A, just like that, and Times New Roman, and then Control A, make sure that everything is also in font size 12. So now everything we know for sure is appropriately formatted in the right font and the right size. So from here, I want to go ahead and show you a few additional tips in Zotero that will help you out with citations tremendously. So let's go to one of these example papers that we just looked at, and you'll notice that when we use the extension from Safari, it's going to automatically pull that PDF for me. And so I can double click on the PDF just like this, and it's going to pull that article up on my screen in Zotero, and I can scroll through and I can read my article. Now, a few little tricks inside this PDF reader is, let's say I really love this sentence right here. Actually, let's make it a little bit longer just for example purposes. I really love this and I want to highlight it in yellow, and maybe I really love this sentence and maybe it's a criticism I have. I might put that in red. And one more example, I want this, maybe it talks about something that I really want to use in my methodology. I will label that blue. So I have different colors of highlights I can use, but you'll notice that on my left-hand side right here, it's going to pull up those colors, which I can later filter by color down the road if I wanted to filter by color. So I can do just my yellows, or I can change the colors here, but I can also filter through. So right here, I can do just my yellows, my reds, and my blues, or I can get rid of certain colors. So if I want to see them all at once, I can just click on all of them. Now, why would this be important? Let me show you. Let's click one more highlight on a separate page. So notice my page numbers are here. This one is a different page. We're going to put that guy in purple. So purple, page 481 versus 479. If I go now back to my article, okay, what I can do is click on the article and I'm going to right click. So right click on the title of that author, not the PDF, but the title of that article. I'm going to scroll down and do add note from annotations. I click there and there are my highlights in order by page number, appropriately cited, just like this from the author. Okay, so the page number, and so if I want to use any direct quotes and make sure that it is appropriately cited, boom, there I go. I have everything all at once, all because I just imported my annotations. Now, if I go back to my PDF, okay, so I have it pulled up here. So there's all of those. If I want to delete one, I can right click. I can change colors. I can edit page number or edit highlighted text. I can also delete it. I don't want it anymore. Now, let's find something else that we can do here. I'm going to scroll and see if maybe there is a graph or a table that this particular author uses. And so I can show you. Here we go. Here's a nice little figure that this author uses. Well, a nice thing that I can do with Zotero is click on this button right here, and it's going to allow me to highlight this entire section. Okay, and boom, it pops up right here. So if I want to keep track of particular figures or tables, then I can go ahead and do the exact same thing. I can change the colors if I wanted to change the colors. Maybe it's to help you keep track of certain types of information. You can change those colors around. And maybe I want to provide a summary for this table. I can go ahead and click on add a post-it note, and I can type in a little comment right here. So a bunch of random letters, but here is an example comment. There you go. So I can go ahead and hit enter, and there is my comment. I can add tags for all of these things as well. So if I want to add a tag, and maybe this is something about higher education, that's a tag that I often use. So higher, there you go, higher education. Oh, it keeps disappearing on me there. Scroll down, there we go, higher education. Now it added a tag for me, so if I want to search through higher education tags, I can go ahead and do that. So you can add as many tags as you'd like. You can add number tags, you can add word tags, small phrases, anything you want to do to help keep yourself organized, add some tags in there. Now, if I go back to my Baylor main page, okay, you'll notice that on my PDF, my article there, I can do additional notes. So there's my annotations that I shared with you earlier. I can add additional tags to this particular article. So this is separate from the tag that I added within my note in the PDF. So that is nice. You can do tags for the entire article, or you can do tags for just individual notes, so you can filter those out later. Okay, and then any related tags that you might want to link up later. And if I want to search for those tags, all I got to do is go right here and do higher education, and it's going to pull up anything that I have tagged as higher education as an article. Now, I don't have an article tagged with higher education yet. If I go in there, I add a tag, higher education, boom. That is now a tag for this particular article, but no tag there. We should only get this article that pops up. So, higher education, boom, there it is. Higher education is the only article that pops up because I utilized my tags. Now, the last thing I do recommend is keeping yourself extremely organized, and that's using this left-hand box over here. And I recommend making new folders for each of your topics, for your papers, maybe even for years. So here's my first year in the program, each semester and each class that I had. And then I even made separate folders for each of the big papers or projects that I had for that particular class. So I have all of those references in one page, and it just helps with keeping me extremely organized. Now, if you want to see all of your articles all at once, that is possible. So you can get rid of these little arrows if you wanted, and just click on My Library, and all of the articles that you've ever imported into Zotero will pop up. So lots of really nice features in Zotero. I hope this helped you out. You can do me a huge favor by going ahead and hitting the like and the subscribe button below, so that way I can continue making more videos just like this one. Thank you all, and see you in the next one.